I'm News 6 investigator Mike DeForest. I just stepped out of the federal courthouse where the trial for Noor Salman is underway. Just a few moments ago, jurors were shown surveillance video showing Salman's husband, Omar Mateen, and his attack on Pulse nightclub. The video actually begins about 30 minutes before the attack. In the surveillance video from the foyer of the nightclub, you see Omar Mateen come in the front door. I think he waited in line behind someone before what law enforcement says was purchasing a ticket at the front door. Mateen then goes through a curtain into the main dance floor and bar area where another surveillance camera in there shows him standing up against the wall for about 13 minutes. Prosecutors later said at that time he was looking at all the victims he would later kill. After about 13 minutes or so, you see Mateen leave that area, go out the front door. The next shot of the video was from a camera located outside the nightclub where you see Omar Mateen moving the rental van to a auto detailing business right next door to the club, parked it under an awning. He's in the car for about a minute or so, and then in a very small dot you can see him moving back into the club. When the camera shot returns to the foyer by the front door, you see Mateen just walk forcefully in the front door, make a right-hand turn, go through the curtain into the main dance floor. From there, the camera shot cut to the surveillance camera above the dance floor. It was in the very thick crowd of people that were in there. It was hard to actually see Omar Mateen, but all of a sudden you just started seeing bodies fall on the ground. A few people ran away, but mostly it was just people hitting the floor. Eventually, when the room cleared and everybody was down, you could see Omar Mateen at the back of the room holding his Sig Sauer rifle with two hands. He appeared very calm. He was just slowly walking through the club, spraying bullets in all directions. After spraying bullets there in the main dance floor, he walks towards the rear of the club where there was another small bar. The camera angle was a little bit more difficult to make out from that aspect, but you do see him opening fire. I recall at one point you saw what was a body lying on the stage. Mateen then returns to the main dance floor, which was probably the best camera view, and again at this point there are just bodies motionless laying down on the ground, several dozen, and at this point Mateen just slowly walks around the club almost in circles. At times it looked like he was firing straight ahead. At times he was clearly firing down into those groups of bodies, presumably trying to kill anyone who may still be alive. After being in that room for about a minute, just slowly walking around, Mateen then returns to the rear of the club. This is about the time that law enforcement believes that his rifle may have jammed. About this same time, camera angles at the foyer at the front door show law enforcement coming into the building. They were in groups of 2 or 3, as I recall, officers in combat position, their weapons drawn, looking frantically in all directions as they enter the club, searching for Omar Mateen. You see those officers come into the main dance floor, and again, bodies all over the floor, and the officers quickly walking across that floor, the bodies motionless as they're looking in all directions for Mateen. Those officers then heading towards the back of the nightclub where we know by now Omar Mateen was held up in the restroom with some hostages. They cut to the shot again, the camera angle from the rear of the nightclub. It was a little bit more hard to make out, but you can see the officers again just methodically walking along the stage, looking for Mateen and then checking out the victims as well. When it returned to the camera shot of the dance floor for the final time, you could see officers in there with their guns drawn, but at this point you started to see some of the people lying on the ground move. A few, from what I recall, got up and started walking away. Others were moving. Sadly, though, many of them remained motionless as police were walking through here. At about this point, the camera angle switched to a helicopter view. This was an edited video. About this point, the camera angle switched to a helicopter view, a thermal imaging where you could see what we know to be the moment when the SWAT team used explosives to blow a hole in the rear of the nightclub. We then saw video of the SWAT team in groups slowly getting closer and closer to that hole that they had just created in what we know was their final firefight that took the life of Omar Mateen. That was the surveillance video that this jury just saw. The first time we believe it's been seen by anyone outside of law enforcement. It certainly had to be a powerful and quite frankly disturbing moment for them.